Hi guys, and welcome to the Black Gold Homestead channel. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at some of the flowers and some of the plants that we have in containers that are blooming here in September. And we're also going to be giving you an update on our front porch containers because it's been 3 months since the last update. So right below me, we're up on our side deck, and you can see this huge sunflower, and it is absolutely enormous, and it is just now starting to come into flower. And it's a small flowering type. The flowers aren't very large, but it does get lots of them. So there you can see an above view, and there's more coming on it. But let's go ahead and walk down here now. And you'll see some dried up plants. They were some old petunias and such. But these here are looking particularly nice. These are Tradescantia palladia, or also known as the Secrestia Purple Heart, and they are coming into bloom, and they've been growing really well. There's another pot of them back here. Okay, so coming down the stairs, we are going to go look at the sunflower, and you can kind of get the idea of how tall it is here, and it is really tall. Now behind you, planting into the flower bed, you will see another Secrestia. This one's doing particularly well. But there's also some little chrysanthemums that we just planted out into the beds. They're a little dry, but they should do okay. And this one here got a little bit trampled by something, but it's in good shape. It should make it. Now, I want to walk you all over here, and I want to show you a plant that most people don't like. This is the pokeberry. I allow them to grow in the garden, and I think they are beautiful foliage plants, and their berries look amazing whenever you use them in floral arrangements. Here's a cluster of berries. Now, these are an herbaceous bush, so they will die down to the ground and then regrow every year. Now, here up against the house is a drift of Calicarpas, or beauty berries. These are a perennial bush that come back every year, and they die back a little bit. You can see some of the old fruiting stems from last year, but other than that, they are just covered, and they are so beautiful. And the nice thing about them is that they hold the berries all through the winter. These berries will stay on all the way until next spring. And they are also edible. You can eat them, but they are great for wildlife to eat, like the songbirds. All right, now we're going to head this way onto the front porch. This little flower bed here, this is the lily bed, and it's everything that we had in it is mostly done for the year. But if you look closely, you can still see some portulacas or moss roses, and they have more buds coming, and some celosia that's going to seed. Here's a red celosia, and here's a little tiny orange portulaca or moss rose, and there's a yellow one back there. So there's a couple different ones in here. And right here is a volunteer petunia that came up in the driveway. We're just letting it do its thing there. Here is a poppy. And this is its second time blooming this year, and it has kind of two-tone flowers, a yellowish orange, and I cut it back down to the ground, level with the ground, and it died back, and now it's coming back. These don't always overwinter here, but sometimes they do. Here is a zinnia that I transplanted out into this bed, and it's doing pretty good. It has a good bit of flowers on it, but it's a little bit knocked over by the wind. And then as we get over here, you can see a lot of heirloom petunias. they're kind of just spilling all over, and there's a couple morning glories as well. But I just wanted you all to see a couple of them. This one here is called Sugar Madness, but it cross-pollinated with a pure white heirloom petunia. So it has the two-tone bicolors. Then above it, there's a pure white one. And here's more of like a lavender, light purple one. And here's a two-tone white and pink one here. And there's just different colors. And I think heirloom petunias are my all-time favorite. And the cats agree. Now, if we come here, you can see yet another large sunflower. And these are the perennial sunflowers. They will come back. And you can see there's morning glories all wrapped around it, which I think looks pretty nice because the sunflowers don't bloom until late in the year. So the morning glories make it look like they're blooming even when they're not. Here's a container with some petunias in it. It's starting to look a little bit bedraggled and tired, but it's still looking pretty decent. Now here is another type of morning glory. This is a, I forget the variety name, but it's a heirloom, and it has huge blue flowers. And these morning glory flowers last extremely long. They last until 4 to 5 in the evening, even if it's full sun and really hot out. So that's really a great trait about them. Here are some ivory pear tomatoes. They're finishing up for the season, but there are a couple still left on there, as you can see. And then we have a banana pepper, which I've already harvested off of, and a lilac bell with some nice purple peppers in it, which you can probably see. And then over here is an Amy's apricot tomato, which I start these inside and then I bring them out in the spring, but they're about done for the year. Okay, now we're going to start the tour of the porch. And don't mind the mess, I haven't swept in a while. But, alright, so we're going to be starting on this side of the porch, and we're going to be working our way to the back. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention is these plants right here. So if you'll turn around, you'll see some of my cactuses up on the top shelf. There's an Apuntia microdaces and a Echinopsis, a Natocactus, and a Mammularia. Under here we have some Crassula and some little starts and this beautiful Kalanchoe Blossom Feldiana. This one has red flowers, and this one is still in flower. It's two-toned. Then there's some little sedums and some hens and chicks that stay outside all year round. Right here we have some black array petunias. They're looking very nice, very full, and they're blooming very well. So now I just want to show you all this cactus here. This is one that I got this year. It's quite new, but it's growing pretty good. It's a dogtail cactus, and it really likes this area. It gets some indirect sunlight because of the sunflower, but it does quite well. Now below it you'll see a bowl of echeverias and some graptopetalum, and they need to be cut back and reset because some of them, like this one, are quite old and they're producing pups all around them, and they just need to be reworked. And they have been blooming all summer long, and they need deadheaded now. Then there is a very sad looking Sansevieria. It's just not been doing the best, but it's coming back. It's doing okay. Now here you'll see a pot with some Constellation petunias. They're looking okay still, but not the best. And then here is a planter with just some coleus and sweet potato vine. And above it is a tuberous begonia that'll have to be coming in soon for the winter. Still looking quite nice. And It has some sunburn because it's on the southeast side of the house. But this plant, if you come in and take a look at it, has very thick, almost waxy leaves and very, very thick stems. And it does not need much water because they are so thick and they can hold on to quite a lot of moisture. Continuing down, oh, above you is a Swedish ivy or a plecthanthus, and it does need a repotting. It's getting quite big, but it has beautiful variegation on it, and it can take the southeast sunlight very well. This one will also be coming in for the winter. Here is my 10-year-old variegated spider plant, which I just cut a whole bunch of babies off of it to give away, and it's already grown more, but it's doing quite well out here and is nice and full. Now below me you'll see some oxalis, also known as the butterfly plant, and a marble queen pothos. And this one here is looking quite nice and very full at the moment. And this is the marble queen pothos. Beautiful variegated leaves. Now in this bed right here, you'll see that we have just put in some chrysanthemum starts. So hopefully they'll root in very well and they will make it into next year. Once they usually make it through their first winter, they're set to go for a good while. Now if you stand back a little ways, you'll be able to see these huge arrangements. They were quite small when we gave you your last update, but now they are really big and full. The purple fountain grass has gotten huge. The coleus has gotten big, and then the sweet potato vine, is also really large. And there is some purple coleus in here, but it's a very small growing coleus, and it doesn't get as big as the other ones. And there's also some petunia down in here too. And you can see some petunia in this matching arrangement as well. But the petunias aren't as vigorous and they do get a little bit choked out. And this is the other matching arrangement to go with it. Now, if you walk down front of the porch, don't mind the dead flowers and all, but these are the geraniums. Here is a large pink one. It's blooming quite nice, but it does need some major deadheading. And then we have this one. I believe that this variety is called 4th of July or Firecracker. It is an ivy leaf. And then this one is a miniature ivy leaf geranium called Pink Cascade. Here is my Martha Washington Regal geranium, and it's not in bloom, but this plant has really grown a whole lot over the summer, and it's a large plant, very big, doing really well this year, and I'm really happy with it. Also not in bloom at the moment is a salmon geranium. This one has salmon colored flowers, and it's smaller, but it's doing really well. Here is a miniature geranium that needs to be repotted. It's starting to turn a little bit yellow, which means it's a little bit anemic, but not too big of a deal. This one, I forget the variety name, but I just transplanted it into this pot. It was in a bowl garden, and it's actually an old geranium. You can see the woody stems on it, but I cut it back to keep new growth coming, and it is looking quite nice. Now, one of my favorite geraniums in the collection would be this. This is called a chocolate cherry geranium. It has pretty basic normal flowers, but the leaves have this beautiful chocolatey brown markings in them. And then there's a regular white zonal geranium, a geranium called Mosaic Pink, which is a two-tone pink and white, a ivy leaf geranium that's kind of starting to fade with some volunteer petunias, a lemon geranium. This one is a really nice specimen. Still has some nice flowers, but starting to die back a little, but new buds are coming. And then finally, my last geranium is this one here, which is similar to the very first one. This one is called a violet geranium. Now, if we walk back this way, you will see that we have some more containers, and this one is doing okay. It's not doing bad, but there's some coleus in it and some marguerite sweet potato vine, and they're doing pretty good, but I'm not deheading the potato vines anymore, so the coleus anymore, so they're starting to bloom. There is a peperomia frost, which has been blooming, and a teardrop peperomia behind it. We have some more potato vine up here and some impatiens. This one is looking particularly nice, but you can see it is going to seed, which, unlike petunias and all, if you don't deadhead your impatiens, it's not a big deal. They'll still keep blooming all season long. Another larger pot, and then this is the hanging basket that I had sitting on the front of the porch in early spring, and it has really filled out very nicely and is looking quite good. There's creeping jenny and impatiens in it. The creeping jenny is a perennial, so I can look forward to that coming back. Now here are some mostly houseplants. There's a butylon or flowering maple, which is starting to go yellow. It's been getting a little cold and I haven't been fertilizing it. And I'm going to be cutting it back and repotting it and then bringing it in for the winter pretty soon. Next there is a variegated dracaena and a peperomia tetragona. Here is a creeping ficus, which has gotten very long and very big over the summer. Nice and full. And then one of my all-time favorite prized plants, if that's what you want to call it, is this China doll, or Ramadachara. And then there's just a snake plant and some more oxalis, as well as a pilea. Here is another set of matching arrangements. These ones are more basic. They have the purple fountain grass, flanked on each side by a purple coleus, and in the front is the potato vine. And then there's just two small pots of impatiens. This is the succulent arrangement that I did a little while back, and it's looking quite nice. One little start that I put in didn't make it, but I'll put something new in there. But overall, it's looking very good, and all the plants are doing well. Behind it are some black gray petunias, and they were cut back, so they aren't as full as they were, but they're still doing good. And then here is a tuberous begonia. It's called an apricot tuberous begonia, and it's starting to fade, but it's still looking pretty good. Alright, so this here is the Hoya polynura, and it is also known as the fishtail Hoya because the leaves kind of look like a fish's tail. Here, look at them. And it's doing really well, and it has grown a lot, but it's been growing so fast that some of the leaves haven't been forming, and it does have some yellow dying leaves, but that's normal for plants. But overall, it's been really good this year. And I've had it for 10 years. This is the Wandering Jew, and it has gotten very big in the past 3 months. And this one is probably a year or so old, but it was restarted from cuttings. And behind me is just some purple fountain grass, and the petunias that were under it have started to die back. And then there's another purple fountain grass. And then you will see the fall arrangements, which have orange coleus, this purple vein coleus, some dusty miller, which is a perennial, and there's also some impatiens in there. And then the front is a chartreuse green sweet potato vine. They're doing really well and are nice and full. Then you will see some more coleus and potato vine on a log pedestal. And then this one I'm really liking. It's a very dark coleus. I think it would look great in a fall arrangement. And some potato vine. Then there is some variegated Secrestia. It grows extremely slow compared to the purple Secrestia. There's a fuchsia, which will have to be going in soon. And I did cut it back recently, but it still has some blooms on it. And there's a bloom right there, you can see. And then there is a large impatient plant, very large impatient plant back there. And if we walk down here, you can see more impatiens. And then if we go to the front, you will see the large impatient plant and variegated ivy. This variegated ivy was all the way down to the ground with huge trails. Here's one you can see. And as you can see how long the trails were, but I just cut it back. So it's ready for the winter and everything should be great. Here is another sunflower. And I just want to take a quick moment to show you the impatiens. Impatiens have very weird looking seed pods. And if I just pinch one off here, you can see 2 of them right here. Now, when you pinch the seed pod, they pop open, as you could probably just see. And then the seeds are inside. And this one's also ready to pop open, so and it just popped open and the seeds flew everywhere. But impatiens will keep blooming even if they are going to seed. So they're great because they don't need deadheading and they can handle a lot of shade in a garden. And they're easy to save seed from, and they're easy to regrow from seed. And there's seed pods all over this plant. Now, here is the oldest mum that we have. It is absolutely covered in buds, and it has beautiful pink flowers, as you can see. Some are just now starting to open. And then, in the middle of this bed, you will see a colonial aster, which I did cut back down to the ground. It is starting to regrow, and I think it has some more buds as well. And then at the end is a new chrysanthemum transplant that'll hopefully do well and overwinter. So thank you everyone for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Have a great day.